And we are live. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Buster Wolf podcast. Today we're talking about beat 'em up history with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games. I'm Renegade Operative, and I'd like to introduce my panel. So first we have Survive.
Welcome.
Next we have Blue Whisper.
Hello, hello.
Next we have Rat Rat.
All right, guys, I brought the buffalo chicken pizza if anyone wants any.
Oh god, yeah, eating it off the ground too. Next we have Drillbit.
Oh, hey, how's everyone doing?
Doing good, doing good. Next we got Kaneki.
COWABUNGA!
Somehow I knew that was going to be said on this podcast. All right, let's go. Next we have Pearl.
It's gonna be a shell of a good time.
And last but not least, we have Zamzara.
Howdy, hopefully nobody gets shell-shocked.
All right, so we're gonna jump right into this thing with the first tier of questions. We're gonna kind of give our thoughts, but also rapid fire them. We're gonna go in a certain order. I'll start from like top to bottom. So let me see. Blue Whisper, tell us what you think of all the Turtles games in tier 1.
Well, I'll start with TMNT 1 for the Nintendo. I remember playing that as a child over at my cousin's house whenever we visited, and it was a nightmare of a game for me, all because of the dam level. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I was always running out of air, and to me, I feel like that's comparable to anybody else's Sonic drowning music. But the rest of the game was just fine, with a bit of a wonkiness with the way the weapons worked when you're attacking the enemies. And then for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, my earliest memory is opening up that game on my birthday, and I played it for hours and hours with my sister and brother. Could never beat it on my own, even with the cheat codes that my brother inputted, but it was always a fun game, especially like seeing like some of the transitions from like Baxter Stockman in his human form in the sewer level, and then you encounter him in his fly form later on in the parking garage. And then the one game that I always played forever and ever was when I got Turtles in Time on the Super Nintendo. Fantastic game. I have dumped hundreds and hundreds of hours in that game, and I even still play it today. I can even just imagine the soundtrack in my mind whenever I just give it a good think about. Great game, and that's all I have to say about them.
All right, next up we have Cryo. Oh, I think he's dead.
Oh nope, sorry. Push the wrong button.
Okay.
So let's see. So for note, I didn't play Hyperstone or the Manhattan Project, so I'll be skipping that. I'll do it by like what I like the most, what I didn't like. TMNT Arcade. I really love that game, like a lot. TMNT 2, the arcade game on the NES, because well, it was pretty accurate to the arcade, and I don't know, for some reason it just holds a very special spot in my heart. Now let's see. Turtles in Time on the SNES. Let's see. I guess Turtles in Time arcade, and then of course last the TMNT game on the NES. It was very frustrating because don't know where to go. They kind of just throw you in the open waters. So yeah.
Survive. Your turn.
Sorry, I had to unmute my mic. Have not played the or I have played the TMNT 1 NES, but I do very much prefer or I played it on the Wii way back in the day. Was too hard, so I quit. So I have played the first arcade game. Very, very awesome. I played it in the arcades along with Mortal Kombat and Killer Instinct. Very, very fun game. Actually, it pretty much holds up today. the arcade game, so the NES port of the arcade game. Very fun. It's a little bit, it's toned down because it's the NES, but still awesome. Manhattan Project I haven't played in a very long time. Turtles in Time, as well as the arcade, played it in the arcades. And Hyperstone Heist I think I've played it once for a show.
All right, next up is Rat Rat.
So I have played Ninja Turtles NES. I obviously didn't play it during childhood, or else my opinion on this game would have been very skewed. I ended up playing it much later after the Angry Video Game Nerds video on it. It can't possibly be as bad as he says it is. And then I get to the damn section. I will admit, that section not as bad once you've got a good route on it, but otherwise, once you get past that, that's when the real Dark Souls begins. You go into this giant city and you have no idea where you're going, no idea what you even need to progress. The game itself, it's really messy on level design, and it lends itself well to exploits. Shoutouts to Donatello, savior of Stage 1. So Ninja Turtles Arcade, we had a Ninja Turtles arcade game at one of the malls I went to. Doesn't need any more elaboration than that. It's still a fun classic game. Still kind of rudimentary by beat 'em up standards, but that's okay when you've got such style and noteworthy IP. And then you play the NES version. I think the NES version is just as cool as the arcade version. It obviously doesn't have the perks, it doesn't have the sound, but hey, it's got a Pizza Hut coupon. Manhattan Project, I don't like as much. Like it has some new moves, it has some new stages. It's its own special project. It's fun for what it is. Not much else to say. Turtles in Time Super Nintendo though. Okay, so this is a me problem. I played that game on hard mode, and I always have a problem with the section where you have to throw the goons at Shredder. I know it's kind of automated, but the enemies are shielded, so I always kind of had a problem with that, because any other difficulty, you can just smash into them and throw them. All your throws throw the enemy towards the screen. And that's cool, but not as cool as the arcade version of Turtles in Time, which I know this is going to be a bit controversial, but I do prefer the arcade version. It has the sound, it has like more voices. Some of the bosses are a little weird, like you're fighting this like mud monster in prehistoric times. I don't remember that showing up. At least they threw in things like fighting Toka and Razar, which was a nice little gift since the second movie had just come out at the time. Turtles in Time Arcade, definitely my favorite of that bunch. As for Hyperstone Heist, they tried to do something original, not just port Turtles in Time over, and like props. You fight Tatsu, who was Shredder's second in command in the movie, and it's like cool. I always had a problem with the boss rush before the end because it's just so exhausting. Like you fight Leatherhead and Bebop, and you fight Tatsu again, and then you have to fight a new boss, and you do it all in one gulp. But beyond that, I think that's my general thoughts on that particular class of games.
It's Kaneki's turn.
Well, I'm gonna make it short and clear. I only played one game from that list. No, actually, no, two technically, and that is both Turtles in Times. Turtles in Times, the arcade version. Pretty much, right said. From what you play it, it has all the voices. It has, I want to say, more of the moves than the SNES. But the game is hard, like no doubt about it. For a 4-player beat 'em up, oh man, I would say it's even harder than the recent Ninja Turtles beat 'em up we got today. Cause oh man, good luck trying to do like combos in that game. But what I'm really surprised about is how they ported the arcade version into the Super Nintendo version. It's like what Capcom should have done to a certain beat 'em up title. Huh. That's all I gotta say. I
I
really have fun playing with it.
I heard that Final Fight roast, motherfucker. I heard that. Well, we're gonna continue on to drill bit, so it's your turn.
Yeah, so let's see, tier one. Yeah, I think I've pretty much. Well, actually, I haven't played Hyperstone Heist. I thought it was a port of Turtles in Time, but I've heard it's actually completely different. So that surprised me. Although, although obviously because of Genesis, some of the sound quality is worse, but it looks fun. And then TMNT one only ever beat it. I beat it one time, and yeah, it's still very frustrating. Don't like it. The TMNT 2 arcade, I mean, ambitious board, but I'd rather just stick with the arcade version. The original arcade game's still fun, repetitive but fun. And then TMNT 3, since they actually made it from the ground up instead of just downgrading from the arcade, it's a lot better. I think it's fun. TMNT 4 on SNES is still the best one for me. I played a bit of the original Turtles in Time, although the SNES one did add more it did add more stages and I think rebalance some stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much my experience with the series. Then Brand finds out the recording wasn't even happening.
It is. I just wanted to play it safe real quick. But it is Zamzar's turn.
All right. So my top two out of that list on tier one are going to be both the Turtles in Time games. I think the SNES one holds a little bit special of a place in my heart over the arcade version. Played a shit ton of the Turtles in Time on SNES. After that, probably the TMNT 1 arcade game. That opening level in the apartment was just mind-blowing, and walking through the arcade and seeing the intro playing out on the screen with that Konami pixel art just like drawn really well. Really like seeing that these days and hearing that version of the theme song really takes me back. And then after that, I'd probably say Manhattan Project. It's a stripped down version of the arcade game. Like it's a weird in between the arcade game and Turtles in Time, where it's not quite Turtles in Time, but it's definitely better than just the standard arcade game on NES. So that's what I would list there. And then bottom of the list would be TMNT 1 for me. That was just an absolute nightmare. Navigating around, the level design was awful. Jumps you can't make. Like everybody has said, the dam level with the electric seaweed is awful. But yeah, that's my list. Never played Hyperstone Heist myself.
Oh, well, I guess it's my turn. So I'll start off with the NES Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1. This game is a flaming pile of crap. I played it recently again.
Ripperino.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh,
Ren, he's finished.
No, I'm not. I'm here.
Okay.
I was talking about how I think the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES is a flaming pile. This game is a piece of shit. I don't know how else to explain it. When I got to that seaweed level and I got dragged down all the way and I died, I'm like, what is this game and why is it programmed so badly? It's like people said before, jumps you can't make, very wonky hit detection, but Donatello is like one of the best characters because he can like cheese it. That doesn't make the game any more fun, so I played that abomination. Next up is the arcade game, and it's pretty basic for what it is. I thought it was weird to do jump kicks with up and the attack button. Clearly that was their first attempt, but more fun than the NES game. Next, the second one for the NES, I played it a little bit. Honestly, it's another one of those games where it got marginally better than the NES game that came before, but it's not quite there yet. I also like Manhattan Project as well. I thought that game was, nostalgia for me. I might be biased on that one because that's like one of the best ones I played on the NES by far. And then when we get to Turtles in Time, that's when things really started to get good. High production values, good level design. I don't think I have anything bad to say about that game. It was one of the greatest, in my opinion. As we get to the arcade version, there are some differences, but it really didn't bother me. I'm just glad that you're able to retroactively go back and play on Parsec with 4 players and play with your friends that way, because in the original it's only like 2 players because that's all it could take. But hey, you can play 4 players on the arcade mode via Parsec. And Hyperstone Heist, I played a little bit, and it's just Turtles in Time without a run button. It's not bad, but it didn't really wow me or impress me. And that's how I feel about that entire list. So moving on to the second one, we gotta talk about these fighting games real quick. Yeah, I guess we can sort of. You guys want to keep the format, or we all want to talk during the fighting game section? Which do you prefer?
Doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't matter to myself.
Yeah.
How many people have played more than one of these?
I played a few, so we can get right into it with this
I
one.
only played the SNES one, so yeah.
Likewise.
Yeah, I've only played Tournament Fighters on SNES.
Tournament Fighters for the other platforms is awful.
I mean, the Genesis only had 3 buttons, and they didn't use the 6-button version.
Okay, here's the thing. The problem to me, and I don't know if other people felt like this, the fights take way too long to complete, because it's just like, oh, is someone gonna get a hit? Blah blah blah. It's like, and then the AI just like sort of stands there and blocks all the time. So it's like, okay, are you gonna hit me or not? So
Yeah.
it's just a weird paradigm of the fight is gonna take like an hour to finish because no one's really hitting each other, because that's how everything is in that game with the health bars and everything. You take minimal damage when you get hit. So I don't know why they did that, but it's quite boring. For the Sega Genesis version, I don't know what they did wrong. The controls are just complete garbage. I don't know why I was taunting while pressing the circle button. I was like, what the why am I taunting while trying to hit this guy? You can crouch in this game, which makes it even weirder how they programmed it. The hitboxes are garbage. I mean, the only merit to the game is that it looks really, really good for the Sega Genesis time. That's it. Just play the SNES version. Rad, I know you played this game.
Yeah.
You peeping in the corner, I know.
So here's the thing: the taunt button is a face button, and that immediately right there is a sign that this game is utter trash that belongs in the sewers. Casey Jones is trapped in that version. April O'Neil is trapped in that version. It has this like manta ray character and a character named Sisyphus. It's sure.
Syphilis? Never mind.
Sisyphus.
Never mind me.
Yeah, I think that's the pronunciation. But it's like you get one punch and you get one kick. Have at it. And by the way, this game has instant replay. Why? I don't understand. Like, and when you think it can't go any lower, you have the NES version of Tournament Fighters, which the NES was not home to a lot of like fighters in general. We're talking a platform that you can basically count all the major standalone fighting games on one hand, because it's like Tournament Fighters NES and Urban Champion. And I assume we're not going to count any like Chinese bootlegs that like overwhelm the fighting game count on the NES.
Oh no, just the official releases so far.
Yeah, so the NES is admirable for trying. They have this one big character called Hothead that is selectable, but only one person can select him in a 2-player game because he's too big for the game to handle. Don't ask me why. It's I'm just flabbergasted by such a decision. It does have Casey Jones, it does have Shredder, so at least you have that, and then you have the Turtles who basically play alike, except for when Splinter comes in to drop a power-up down, and that kind of gives you a ball you can kick to the opponent. And they tried. They only had 2 buttons to work with. But you have the Super Nintendo version, which everyone has spoken highly of, and I shall join them because that game still holds up incredibly today. It's fast, it has a fair amount of characters you know and characters you might not know, but they're still pretty cool. Shredder is a fucking beast in that game because he's basically Balrog with a punch and an anti-air knee, and he's incredible. And that game itself is definitely the gifted child of this Tournament Fighters trilogy. That's kind of all I have to say about Tournament Fighters itself. Yeah.
Oh, I think we're gonna have to move on to the next one then. Injustice. So very interesting when they introduced the Turtles into the picture. I enjoyed them very much on the short time that I played with them. Interesting mechanics as well, like Raph can do the Psy thing and he'll do multiple hits. And
isn't like Raph just a rushdown character basically?
Yeah, most likely, yeah.
He's pretty much the brawler, yeah.
I didn't play with all the other turtles. That's the only one I touched so far. But
really?
Don't they universally all have the skateboard, or is that just Mikey?
No, I think that's Mikey. So basically, what Donatello does, is he throws down a gadget, and Drill, correct me if I'm wrong. It takes out projectiles, right? And it has different properties, so you can make it to where they don't jump. For like 5 to 10 seconds, you can make it to where it can grab any projectile. So like a Batman Batarang, you can make it to where it brings people in closer so they can't hit you. But you can hit them with the long ass staff. Donnie is very, very good to play. He was my main, and then also Leonardo, which called every turtle. So I didn't play Mikey though. Mikey or Raph. Too up close and personal for me.
Yeah, I mean, Raph was funny mainly because he was the rushdown character. I've heard Michelangelo's the worst of the 4.
I played as him. It's because he's mostly like a tricky character, like you gotta go low or stuff like that with the skateboard, all skateboard combos, and he has to get really, really close to do anything due to the nunchucks. So I think that he's very technical in that sense. The other ones I did not touch though.
I heard like Leo's the best.
Mikey as well.
I think Leo's like the best of the 4 because he's got assists.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. They can come in and just beat the crap out of everyone.
Yeah, Leo, he calls the other turtles for assists.
Oh, so he's like all 4 in 1. Gotcha.
I don't see people use much of Leo. I see them more use of Raph.
I agree.
Yeah, I never used Raph. It's just Donnie was just so viable in damn near every.
But yeah, he's kind of. I think he's like the trap character, basically, just keeping people away.
But I mean, even with my hate of Injustice 2, I still say to this day the only reason why I would ever come back is because of the Ninja Turtles. It's such a If you guys don't know, like we haven't seen what Ninja Turtles in a fighting game since I think at that point Smash Up, which came out.
Or unless you also tournament fighters.
Well, even Tournament Fighters was back in the 90s. So when those came out, like, you know, you had the Tournament Fighters, and then you had Smash Up, which, I mean, debated or not, I mean, you guys could say Smash games aren't fighting games, but in terms of like fighting game wise for Ninja Turtles, the last fighting game they technically been in was Smash Up. So what was that? It was after 2007. I think it would have been 2009, 2010. So we haven't seen like a Ninja Turtle fighting game in like, I don't know, 9 years. And I would definitely love to see one come back.
Survive, you trying to get those smashers on us, man?
Huh?
I heard that. I heard that at the end. You know, you can get on Injustice 2 and catch some hands, but seriously, I thought that
Tuesday, Rand. Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday is when it goes live, so I'll be
On PS
confident.
Plus.
I'll be confident with my turtles when it goes free. That being said, it was an interesting reveal. Like, one of the best guest characters, in my opinion. I mean, I like Hellboy and all that other stuff, but come on, man, it's Ninja Turtles. So you got to get hyped for that.
Yeah, I never played it, but that reveal was really sick.
Dude,
it's very memorable.
I think I still have my reveal up on YouTube somewhere. I was
For what character?
For the Ninja Turtles. I was with my friend Jared, and his so it was revealed during an Injustice 2 tournament. I think it was like the big one, like the Pro League one. And his stream was faster than mine. And what is it? I called it as well. I cut it out in a little segment. So before the stream, we started talking about, okay, who can these characters be? And I started looking at the guy in the trench coat, and I was like, you know, okay, so the silhouettes don't always match, right? Because like Raiden is a lot fucking slimmer than his silhouette picture. So let's do the same for Ninja Turtles. All right. So let's say, okay, it's not Rorschach in the trench coat. It might be like Raphael or something like that. And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, if I look at this picture here, the curves could be the shell. You have the top hat. You have the trench coat. What if this is actually a Ninja Turtle? Back then,
you heard the voice.
Well, hold up. And then Ed Boon said this is a character that we have never done before, which is a flat out fucking lie. But because Triborg existed, but let's not. You know, Ed Boon's been going on about, well, this is a character we've never done before in this. And I was like, well, I mean, if Rorschach is in the game, he's pretty much just Batman, isn't he? So they can't do that. So it would have to be something like the Ninja Turtles. And then I started saying, like, what if you could choose a bandana or choose a sword, and they can do certain moves depending on the turtle you pick. And then, well, I think it was like 2 hours later, they showed the trailer, and then what is it? The fucking reveal of the Psy hitting the ground in front of Adam and Enchantress, and I lost my shit. I was done for. I think I almost flipped my fucking table with how excited I was for Ninja Turtles to be in Injustice.
I just like when they throw the pizza at the screen and they eat it, and it's all just funny and hilarious, and even the quotes with the characters is all like fucking cool. So it's
Pizza achievement.
You know that was a real
unlocked.
pizza, right?
really.
Yeah, they actually threw a pizza at a camera, and I think when the pepperoni stuck and started sliding down, that they basically mocapped an actual pizza being thrown.
We got to that point of like 3D printing food and now mocapping pizza. All
So when
right,
we're gonna see next gen pizza, Unreal Engine 5 pizza.
it's gonna happen. Just give it time. Give it time. We're gonna move on to these other two fighters, which
I haven't gone yet.
oh, good.
Um, so the only one I've played is Tournament Fighter, and I've only played the SNES version and the Genesis version. And I think, in my personal opinion, I think I prefer the SNES version over the Genesis. I forgot why. I think I just felt more comfortable for some reason, or I just, for some reason, it just felt more. What's the word? I felt more comfortable playing it. Maybe I don't. I don't know. I just know I did prefer the SNES version. I like the moves, but it is pretty freaking difficult if you don't know what you're doing. And sometimes even if you do know what you're doing, it can be difficult.
Yeah, those other two games are not good games. And I don't like the AI in the SNES version of Tournament Fighters, but it's leagues above the other two because it's not wonky or boring. So that's probably the issue with it. Anyone else on these other games before we move on?
But you have to deal with input delay. That's why I don't like the fighters on Super Nintendo.
That's also true, yes.
I could grin and bear it.
I can't.
These other two games I have not heard of.
Are you? Wow.
I never play them, so
Really?
I'm out for
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah, I have nothing to say on them. I never heard of Mutant Melee, and I never heard of Smash Up at all.
Okay,
Same.
so Mutant Melee I didn't know existed until I was like on my collecting Xbox games spree. Now I have like over 500 physical games. But Smash Up was a huge game for me back then. Let me see when did it come out?
2008,
Was
maybe
it 2008?
2009 or 10.
I know, yeah, 2009. Okay, so I was very excited for the release of this game. Not only because, okay, so I got the PS2 version, which, if anybody doesn't know, the Wii version is very, very much more superior. It comes with more stages. I think it comes with Fugitoid. And I think there are bonus challenges with the Wii version as well.
Also, they added Rabbids for some reason.
Because Ubisoft.
Yeah,
So-
but they could have just added Rayman.
True. But okay, so anything that you guys probably didn't know about. So the teaser trailer to show Turtle Smash Up, right? It was a full-on CG trailer. Did you guys know what that trailer actually was, right?
No idea.
It was so in the 2007 movie, right? You guys know the big Raph and Leo battle. The deal with that battle is that they actually had another cut of it. So instead of like never doing anything with the second cut of that movie, and it pretty much almost has like Raph like fucking stabbing Leo in the face. But what is it? No, they reused that for the Smash Up trailer, and it's all the 2007 Turtles. So I personally like the Turtles. Everybody else hates the Gecko Turtles, is what they call them.
Geckos.
Yeah, I've heard geckos. I've heard everything. I guess it's because of how like very, very slim they are. But it's a very fun game. The challenges are really cool. It's how I found out about the fourth live action movie, which is the Next Mutation. Because they did that cool thing that they do in the COWABUNGA collection, where they show off like the box art and stuff like that. They had their own character viewer where they showed off like comic covers, canceled projects, and everything like that. But Turtle Smash Up as a game was very, very fun. It had a life system. so basically you would stage transitions was a thing. So like in Injustice, you hit back is it back 3 or back 4 to basically do a stage transition.
Back 3.
Back 3.
Okay. So in Smash Up, it was all seamless. So you can either wait until like, okay, so the sewer mission or the sewer stage. So you start out in like a very small claustrophobic sewer, right? And there is a pipe that is ready to burst to throw you guys all out to the expanded sewer base. You can either wait until it explodes, or you can like all 4 hit the pipe and it'll burst quicker. And it's all very seamless. There's no cutscene or anything. It shoves you guys all out into the expanded sewer. And then there comes new hazards. So like Leatherhead can come out and fucking eat ya, which is really, really awesome. And yeah, I have very, very good memories of Smash Up. The main menu music is very, very good. And then along with that, like I said, the Wii version is superior. The story mode is okay. It doesn't make all that much sense, but because Splinter holds a tournament between like all the turtle friends, so like April, the 4 turtles, and then Shredder becomes like a bigger threat. So Shredder or Splinter sends whoever the person is that wins that tournament to fight Shredder. If you bought the physical edition of the game, I know it came with a comic. I think it was written and drawn by Kevin Eastman, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Smash Up is a game I highly recommend if anybody hasn't played it, or if you just like Smash clones and Ninja Turtles and don't want to play Nick's All-Stars Brawlers. Yeah, that's
survived. Have you heard of this other one?
The what?
The Mutant Melee.
Okay, like I said, when I didn't even know the game existed until I started game collecting 2 years ago. I have it. I haven't played it. It kind of looks like a brawler of some kind.
No, they say it's a fighting game, so that's a weird classification on it.
Well, like not a beat 'em up, but it's kind of like a party. Here, give me a second. I think it's
It has like a weird isometric camera.
Yeah, that's what I noticed looking at the screenshots.
Got it.
But it looks like Power Stone or something.
Yeah, more like that. So okay, so yeah, over 20 playable characters. My God, that is a lot of characters. Yeah, it just looks like Power Stone. Wide range of mini games, including Last Man Standing, King of the Hill, and more. Which Wait, what would King of the Hill be? If Last Man Standing, because Last Man Standing is what I think King of the Hill is.
Last Man Standing is like a battle royale, where King of the Hill you might have to hold on to something or stay in a zone or something.
But yeah, it looks more like a brawler. I wouldn't say like it's a fighting game.
Oh, okay. So it's one of those like we all said, Power Stone. So that's interesting. Party game. I want to probably give that a shot, see how it is, but I have no knowledge on it so far. So I guess we can move on to the handheld games, which I will be mute for once again because I've played none of the Turtles handheld games. So anyone else want to go on this?
Wait. You never played the Game Boy Advance games?
Nope.
Dude, oh yeah, me and Kaneki geek over this shit.
I mean, the only one I played was the one based on the 2007 film, which played like a beat 'em up.
That's also good. That's also a good game.
But no, the 2003 TMNT game for the Game Boy Advance, at least the first one, oh man, that was a great beat 'em up for the GBA. It was like, it's like the TMNT game on the go, a 2003 show on the go.
Except with all the annoying quips.
I didn't have a problem with it because it was like so easy to do and just fun at the same time.
but in terms of what is it? The in terms of the handheld games, right? I know there was Cryo, which is the original what is it called? Game Boy game. Is it Follow the Foot Clan or
It's
something?
Follow
like
the
that?
Foot Clan.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I think I brushed up upon that whenever I was doing Turtle Thursdays. I think it was one of the games I had to cut until I did that show when Mutants in Manhattan was announced, and I played like I tried playing like a lot of the game or Ninja Turtle games up until the release of that. But in terms of I haven't played that, so honestly, do you want to go with it if you played it?
Which game?
Fall of the Foot Clan.
So,
Rat
So-
Ass.
once upon a time, when I got my first Game Boy, it came with Super Mario Land and Tetris, like you'd expect, but it also came with a game called Fall of the Foot Clan. So, by today's standards, this game is incredibly rudimentary. You have a slow walk speed, you have Foot Clan and various other robots coming at you trying to damage you. You have to sort of smack them away with your weapon of choice. You have boss fights like Bebop and Baxter and Shredder and Krang. It's like 5 stages. Yeah, like, it's very rudimentary and standard, but it's an action game that kind of keeps you on your toes without being like too fast paced. That's about all I have to say. It was kind of Konami's pattern with Game Boy ports of taking games that worked well on the NES and making them slow as hell on the Game Boy. Castlevania.
Oh no.
Damn. But
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
I'm trying to think of every handheld game. There's Fall of the Foot Clan. and
Back
then-
from the Sewers was the second game. I played a little bit of that back in my childhood. It's kind of like the same exact thing as Fall of the Foot Clan, but they kind of added a mechanic where if you lose a mission as a turtle, you could play as one of the other remaining turtles, and once you beat the stage, you had the option to go rescue your captured turtles from a boss after you get through the level, and if all your turtles were still intact, you just went to a bonus level instead. I don't remember ever beating that game, but it was just decent for what it was at the time.
It's definitely a lot harder than the first game because the first game incredibly easy. The second one has a lot of bite to it, especially that capture game that you mentioned. That fight has a time limit, and you don't get a life bar for that. Whenever you get hit, and you will, it takes time off of that clock.
Yeah.
and then in terms of that, like what me and Connect with the Game Boy games, which if you guys have never played the Game Boy games, it is one of my personal favorite beat 'em ups of all time.
Game Boy Advance.
Yep, the Game Boy Advance are my favorite in terms of just beat 'em up and Ninja Turtle games. I have probably synced 200 plus hours on the first game alone, because I just love it so much. The music is great. The music is so fucking good with like the Game Boy Advance, like kind of chiptune type deal. Whoever the artist of that game is, deserves a lot of credit for how good those songs are. Like the Leonardo boss battle kind of sounds like a Kill Bill kind of song. The Mikey one is very oriented. And then Donnie is like very technological base, and then Raph is just a street brawler, so you get all the cool guitars and the riffs and shit, especially in the what is it? In the race against Casey Jones. They do the Motley Crue like Kickstart My Heart kind of thing where they rev up the guitar to make it sound like a motorcycle. It's all around a great game. So basically now Kaneki, Raph, I think, follows the story of Raph and Casey Jones fighting
Yes.
Purple Dragon, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
Okay, so and then I think I'm trying to think of it chronologically. And then I think it's Leonardo or actually I think Leonardo's campaign is first because Leonardo follows the story of the sewers getting attacked by the Mausers. He goes and saves April.
Oh,
And
just
then
like
he
the PS2 game, which I'll talk about later. But go on.
Yeah. He goes into the sewer and then goes out of the sewer, and then he goes to Baxter's laboratory and then fights the Mega Mauser, which is really, really awesome. Like I said, the boss battle song makes me think of Kill Bill every single time. And then what else is it? I'm trying to think. So we have that. We have Mikey, or no. Donnie's would be, I guess, third in chronological. And then Donnie's is shit. I kind of forget because I know it has to do with technology. And then his like vehicle mission was a kite mission.
Is it the one where he built the robot?
No, it's the
Oh, okay.
he I know it has to do with cloaking foot ninjas. And you have to deactivate the systems to like actually damage them. I forget what the story of that one was. And then you get to Mikey, which you think, oh, happy go lucky Mikey. No, it's a fucking nightmare. Shredder works on, or Shredder, I forget who it is, works on like mutated monsters. And it's like, hey yo, what are you doing here, man? It's all very weird. And then I think if you beat the game with all four turtles, you can go to the fight Shredder at the tower.
So that's kind of like a true ending bit.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
I like that. That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then do you know what the crystals do? I know they have collectible crystals, but I never knew what.
I really don't know what they do.
I just tried collecting them just because. But other than that, it's the first game is really, really awesome. I recommend anybody just grabbing an emulator and just fucking with it.
Does it? I'm sorry to interrupt. Does it have a specific name? Because I'm kind of interested.
Yeah, you can just look up. Don't look up TMNT Game Boy Advance because you're gonna get the 2007 game. I would say Ninja Turtle. If you're gonna look it up, I say Ninja Turtles 03 Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
You got to really specify the Now, of course, if there was a regular single cart, and then there was a double pack, which is what I used to have as a kid with my Game Boy SP. So basically, the dual pack came with both the first and Battle Nexus on the Game Boy Advance, because I think the third game was on the DS. I have never played that. So, but the first game was awesome. They had your standard jump and hit button. They had charge attacks. So I know Leo does like a long slice. I think wasn't Donnie's just like kicking up in the air.
Yes.
And then Raphael's was like up and down kicks. I'm trying to think. And then Mikey's was throwing his nunchuck and it came back like a boomerang. So
classic Mikey.
And then I believe you can also do like a special move, but the turnoff is you lose health when you do it. So I mean you can do the special move to basically get out of a tough situation, but it ain't gonna be easy getting out of it. It's fairly easy. I mean you can learn a lot of the people's patterns, but other than that, it's a good game. Very, very good game.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the next one here. This is tier 2, so we're gonna take turns yet again. What are your thoughts on the following Ninja Turtles games below? Blue Whisper, I want you to go first.
I have not played any of these games at all.
That is fair. We could just move on to Cryo if that's the case. So Cryo, it's your turn.
My friend, I have never played them.
Damn it!
My goodness. Hold on. All right. You want me and Survive to go again?
Yeah, Survive. Take this one.
Okay, so we're talking about the basically from 2003 to I want to say 3 or PS3 era.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is correct.
Okay, so
so far in that list, I only played the 2003 one.
Yes, same. I've only played the 2003 one, and I got very annoyed because I got so annoyed with the fucking quips. Shell shock. Out of my way, Nimrod. And then what does Donnie say?
Oh, I don't know what he says.
Oh, what does
that's the least characters I play in almost every Ninja Turtle game.
No, I always pick what is it, Donnie or Leo, because of their range.
I pick Mikey.
I know Battle Nexus. I think that was okay. If I'm not mistaken, I think they came with special abilities.
Wait, hold on. Before you go any further, if you did beat the 2003 Ninja Turtles game, you unlock Splinter and Casey Jones. And when you play Casey Jones, oh man, he's Broken City. He's easy mode for the entirety of if you was to replay the story.
I know for the 2003 game, they also had a brawler mode. So it's basically like Shaolin Monk's fighting mode. But just with Ninja Turtles. So, and then in Battle Nexus, I did not play the PlayStation 2 version of it. I played the Game Boy Advance version. The difference between those versions is, and I think you got power-ups, or not power-ups. You it was kind of like a mini RPG where you had like a skill tree, I think, and you upgraded a specific Ninja Turtle, and they play differently than the others. In the Game Boy version, all turtles are playable, but depending on the map, some turtles are viable in unlocking secrets. So this is for replay value. Think of it like you go from, let's say that Turtles 03 Game Boy is like Resident Evil 3. You have your standard campaigns and whatnot, and characters follow story, which is weird because now it's the 28th. That I'm talking about in Resident Evil 3. And then think of Battle Nexus as what the fuck is it? Resident Evil 1 and 2. You pretty much go through the same area, but different characters do different things. Mutant Nightmare, I've played a little bit of it. It's I mean, it's a step up from the 2003 game, but I mean that's not saying all that much. but yeah, I don't know if I would recommend those games today. I know we talked about a possible collection of the PS2 era games, which please God, I want a re-release of those Game Boy games. But yeah, other than that, yeah, all three of those games, just play the Game Boy versions of them. In terms of the okay, so I have never played Reshelled. Someone else here, I think, has, right?
That would be me.
Yep.
I'm so sorry.
What's wrong
So,
with Reshelled?
where do I begin? This is an ugly game that barely retains any of the music from the arcade. You can do local play, but say you're at the final boss. If any of the turtles gets knocked out by the final boss, he gets a pellet of health back. So that's nice. Just you can feel how jank this game is. Just by its looks and just by playability. It doesn't hold a candle to the originals. And by the way, this was published by Ubisoft, so good luck actually trying to play it because it was sliced out of the PSN store faster
Which
than
one?
you could. Reshelled was sliced out of the
Yeah,
PlayStation Store and all
Oh, good luck
digital.
with that.
It was sliced out of all digital storefronts faster than you can say Frere Jacques. I was trying to get that out there.
Mutants in Manhattan is probably the only game you could probably find to Yahar it, you know?
Yeah.
'Cause that's
I
the only way
mean-
you could play this game.
I mean, there are physical copies out there. And I did try
Hey,
to
wait,
run
what?
Mutants in Manhattan. I'm pretty sure that got
Oh,
a physical release.
Oh, Mutants meant, dude. I thought you meant Reshelled. I was like, huh?
No, Reshelled was-
trust me. I have my can of worms on fucking Mutants in Manhattan. Don't
Yeah.
get me started on that damn game.
I
Oh.
will say that I tried to Yarhar it and play it through emulator, but even my emulator just sort of gave out. I played the tutorial. I tried to play the first stage, and that's when my emulator said no. Okay, this is enough. I can't take anymore.
That was a sign from God.
It crashed.
It was a sign from God. Don't worry.
So what question were we on real quick?
We're on the
question number 4.
PS3.
Okay, yeah,
games.
got it.
Okay, so I don't think anybody has played Out of the Shadows here, right? Except
Nope.
for
No,
I have.
Okay.
I missed out on that.
Oh,
I heard it was shit, so I never.
dude,
Never played
man,
it.
that's sad because I really like this game. So this, I think this was the first game made by Activision, if I'm not mistaken, with the Ninja Turtles license. Let me think. So you have Ubisoft that worked on, or you had Konami that worked on the classic game up until the 2000, or I guess what is it? Mutant Melee, I guess, was the last game. Then you had 2007 all the way to Smash Up, I think, was the last game that Ubisoft got until the licenses ran out. I think Out of the Shadows was the 2000, or I think it came out in like 2012. It came out, I think, right around the time that that the new show was coming out, and it was really, really big in the turtle sphere. You know, the turtles had a definite different look. They looked a lot more realistic, which I personally like. I always wanted a game of, oh, you know, what would the realistic turtles look like? Let me try to look up so I can post it on Gen Chat so you guys can see.
Someone, I think a big Blue Whisper said in the chat that Activision that made Out of the Shadows.
Yeah. I think it was the first game. I think it was the first game they actually worked on.
Ooh.
But it was very buggy on launch, to say the least. Do you know if the PS3 version ever released?
I don't. I have no idea. I played it on 360.
Oh, same here. Okay, so if anybody doesn't know about the development of the game, um,
It did come out on PS3 in
Oh, it
April
did?
2014.
Okay.
I've seen footages of the 360 version. Oh boy.
Okay, so I played the PC and the Xbox 360. So I think I've bought the game maybe 3 times. Like I said, I very
And you
much
want the
like.
money back, don't you?
No, I very much like this game. I actually played it on my Steam Deck.
I mean, considering how the reviews, yeah, you might be in the minority.
Yes, I know how much in the minority I am.
Yeah. I mean, other than so the concept was really cool, being able to quick swap and hot swap between the turtles as you're playing. But the bugs and everything else with it kind of made it unplayable. And wasn't there like a weird upgrade system or something?
Okay, so there was a skill tree in the game, and basically every turtle had its own skill tree. So Donnie, and then they all had their own like specialty with them. So Donatello had the gravity gauntlet. Leonardo had basically a Darth Maul dual katana thing. Michelangelo had the Kusarigama, and Raphael had fucking metal fist. So, yeah. And you can upgrade that. You can upgrade their speed. You could have a dedicated healer on the team. Leo's abilities is like, if you do like taunts and stuff, you can boost the morale of the other turtles. And
it was just one of those games that felt like it was trying to do too much and it didn't do anything well. It did everything okay. Like, this is serviceable.
In my terms, they had like double team moves, or actually quadruple team moves. So I know if you did 4 like if you did one of the finishers on all 4 with all 4 turtles, the guy or the enemy would be in the middle, and they would all take their shells, put you in a box, and just fucking smash their shells together. I'm pretty sure that guy's dead. But other than that, the storyline is all right. It starts out with the turtles investigating like a purple dragon hideout, and then it goes into them making deals with Krang. They follow them through a subway station. You can have a subway fight with Karai. And then, if I'm not mistaken, you go out to the city, find out more about what Shredder's doing. And then in the end, you basically just go and go into like the Utrom spaceship, or the or the Krang spaceship. But other than that, it's to me, I very much like the game. There was parkour in it. There was like I said, special moves. Every character had their own move set that you have to learn. They kind of had a combo system like Arkham. It is not as good as Arkham or Spider-Man.
Oh, that's
So
par for the course.
I will tell you that right now. And the only way that you can play the game, unless you let me look up how much it is, because I bought it before it got really, really expensive. The Shadows Steam code. Yeah, okay. So if you want to play it like right now, you could buy a Steam key for $381. I could tell you right now it's not worth $800 or $381, but
it would probably not even be worth $1, honestly.
If you can find a way to Yarhar, it's pretty fun. Like I said, I've been playing it on the Steam Deck again, so it's one of my personal favorite Ninja Turtles games, other than Smash Up which of course was not favored well. The 2003 Game Boy game and Turtles in Time, also the arcade game.
All right, so go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick, out of those games, Turtles in Time Reshelled is probably my favorite, and then Out of the Shadows after that, and then Mutants in Manhattan, and the art style I really like in Reshelled. Actually, I really liked the kind of chunky, it's almost like claymation in a way, art style that they had going on there. I don't remember much about the gameplay being awful or feeling clunky, but that very well may be the case. Obviously, the SNES version is the superior version of that game, but being able to play that on 360, I thought was really nifty. And yeah, I agree with everything about Out of the Shadows. For the most part, I just think it was trying to do too much.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that.
But if you can get your hands on it, it's worth a shot if you're a fan of TMNT. Same with Mutants in Manhattan. I think all three of those games, if you can get your hands on them, they're worth playing at least once.
Also, you what is it? I think it comes with an arcade mode. So you try to get the highest score in this like little arcade machine. It's fucking awesome. How long would you say the game is? I think I played maybe a good 10 hours. I think it took me to get through the story and the arcade mode.
Yeah, 8 to 9 hours for Out of the Shadows. It's kind of short, especially if you're good at it. It'll be even shorter. If you
it was like $30 on launch.
Yeah.
So it wasn't all that expensive. What I can tell you, so my story with Out of the Shadows was I originally pre-ordered it for PS3. The game was made by Red Fly Studio, I think it was, which I'm pretty sure they're still in business today.
Well,
I don't know what the hell they're working on.
I actually remember this studio because they were trying to get like a Darth Maul game made, and it never really came into fruition. So I do have some knowledge of them before that got canceled.
Okay.
I don't know if they're still around, but that's something else they tried to do that was big and it never really popped off.
In terms of the PS3 version, it got delayed to hell. Basically, the guy who was working at GameStop felt so fucking bad for me because I kept on putting money into this game like every week whenever I got my allowance. So he
How old were you when that was out?
When did it come out? 2012. I think I was
2013.
Okay, so I would have been it when the game was announced, and the marketing of the game was pretty fucking awesome too. It had this very hip hop style. The music is great as well. There's a theme in there that that's a callback to the original theme. I think it's Combat 3. Nope, it might be Combat 5. But I think it had like a 2-year delay, if I'm not mistaken, because they just could not put it out. That's it. Yep, it was Combat 8. But in terms of so the guy felt so bad. He was like, "Dude, do you own an Xbox?" And I was like, yeah. He's like, here's what I'm willing to do. All right. I'm willing to transfer your money from the PS3 version because I don't even think it's going to come out. And I could get you a like Xbox code. I was like, all right, it's fine with me. I just want to play this fucking game. So, and then that's why I didn't know if it came out on PS3 at all, is because I thought it was canceled. And then whenever I got my new Steam account, I got it on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all right.
Also, Drill, you were saying something?
Yeah.
Shit. So, but you never said how old you were, though.
Oh, I think I was 12.
Oh, okay. Makes sense when you said allowance. And I was thinking,
Yeah,
damn,
yeah.
How young were you?
Yeah, I was 12. And what's really stupid is the people who made the movies, this will always piss me off. Whenever I try to look up Out of the Shadows, their big brain idea for the second movie of the Michael Bay films was to name it Out of the Shadows. So now I have to specify, oh hey, TMNT OOTS the game instead of the just having it as the game. I don't
guess
care about
to
that
be fair, they probably didn't know it existed.
I bet they didn't.
Yeah.
I was the only person who ever played it.
All right,
There's a lot about TMNT that Michael Bay didn't know existed.
All right, the shots fired. So, I want to do my 2 really quickly because I only played like 2 from this list. So, I did play the 2003 game for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I liked it, but I have to agree with everyone else. The characters constantly saying things over and over again did really get repetitive and annoying. I don't know if they fixed that in Battle Nexus or Mutant Nightmare, but
I think they did. I think it was a big enough complaint.
I hope to God they did, because that was just hard to deal with in the first game. And then I played Mutants in Manhattan. I'm gonna be honest, I tried giving this game a fair shake. I tried. I thought
Call them everything.
I thought the concepts of the open world was interesting, but when I got to the realization that once I died, they have this mini game where you have to eat pizza, and if you don't press the button fast enough, then your turtle will overdose on a slice of pizza. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, and the boss fights just weren't interesting. It felt like it was too large for a Turtles game to really deal with. So it's all spaced out and disjointed, and I wasn't really feeling the gameplay of it. Usually Platinum, I mean, the last Platinum game that I liked in that vein, that was a tie-in, was kind of like Transformers, where Devastation was going back to the
was great.
Yeah, that was a great experience, but Mutants in Manhattan didn't even hold a candle to that. So I really did not like that game at all. I thumbs down from me. When I tried to emulate it, it actually worked, and I wanted to stop playing after like the 3rd level. So
You wanted to stop playing because it emulated well.
no.
Well, hold up. Ren, at least you didn't cover the game.
You did apparently, huh?
Yes, I did. There was a big chunk of my channel where I did nothing but did news coverage for that fucking game, and I followed it very, very, very closely. I showed every trailer. I broke down every trailer. Okay, this was 6 years ago. I made 1, 2, 3. Oh God, 4.
It
5
keeps going.
news videos.
The counter keeps going up.
Yeah, I made 5 news videos talking about Mutants in Manhattan, and oh, how excited was I buying this game. And what's sad is because I kept on hearing, oh, Platinum is great, and then I played this, and it's like,
Well, to be fair, it wasn't even like their main team who made it. They were busy on Bayonetta and Astro Chain.
I will forgive Platinum, because then I started looking into, okay, so why did this game fail? And then I realized what they wanted to do and the budget they were given, and it was very, very low. Maybe like I think like Deadpool levels of low. Where if anybody, I'm like most certain that Deadpool's budget was very, very low for what they wanted to do. It's just
wasn't this during the time of the Activision license nightmare where
yes it was.
They were constantly putting out like either animated stuff or old toy IPs for people to make, and then they just turn out to be failures?
Yeah, so and all those games ended up getting delisted because Activision can't hold a license to save their fucking life. When it comes to Spider-Man or Ninja Turtles or Transformers, now you can't play Devastation unless you got a a physical copy of it.
Well, I mean, the physicals are at least somewhat easy to find.
Yeah, I got my physical copy of Mutants in Manhattan, and then I also own it on Steam. But I thought it was going to be like an open world Ninja Turtles game. It was definitely not that. And then what else is it? I mean, the map is big. Don't get me wrong. It's just not open world, which would have been really, really cool.
It tried to do something
then,
equivalent to that.
What else? And yeah, that pizza mechanic, good idea.
Man.
I think it was executed poorly.
We just overdose on pizza, dude. When I first died, I was like, "What is going on?" That's their favorite food.
This was the point of Platinum's split-second life or death decisions that they made famous with Bayonetta 1. So I can easily see that carrying over to some of their other projects.
Oh, I get it. I get it totally, but it just did not work, unfortunately.
Also, it wasn't their main team making it. It was like
even so, all this ragging on Platinum is breaking my heart.
I mean,
as of this recording, Bayo 3 is like a month away.
I like Bayo 1 just to make people feel better, but yeah.
Yeah. Bayo 2's the better game, though.
That's their mistake, not having the main team, and it's still their fault, regardless.
Yeah, and I guess, Activision flashing that money doesn't make it any better, but I guess we can move on to the next one.
I disconnected for a second.
Oh, we were just wrapping up on the last question, moving on to question number 4.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, it tried being a good game, but
oh no.
No.
Oh no!
Yeah, I would highly, unlike Out of the Shadows, I would say like, oh, you should try it, if you can Yarhar it, but absolutely not with Mutants in Manhattan. Don't even try, please.
Oh, this is the big one. So the following games below for tier 3, games that just came out. So we have Shredder's Revenge.
I didn't get to say my part.
Oh, good.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no!
Drill, I know how much you like Platinum.
But yeah, I didn't. But yeah, the only ones I played were TMNT and then TMNT 2, Battle Nexus.
Oh, I forgot to say TMNT.
Yeah, I only played the first one. I have no idea if the sequels are better or worse for the PS2.
I've heard they've gotten worse.
Oh,
they're not great. They also came with like ports of like the arcade games, but they were not good because they either changed the music or they ran poorly.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, and the 2007 game, I totally forgot about it. One of my favorite games of all time. If anybody doesn't know, it's a Prince of Persia clone. That's pretty much the rundown. But Night Watcher was fucking awesome. Again, I don't know what's with Ninja Turtles games, but like Ninja Turtle game music cannot fucking miss for a day. It's a Prince of Persia clone, so you get to run on walls and all that. You have to do a little bit of parkouring and platforming. They have a rage meter. So if you don't get hit, you can unleash a devastating attack. Team moves. So you can switch turtles on the fly. And there are character-specific missions. Like I said, the Night Watcher mission. The first mission is only Leonardo. And then you get to play Michelangelo during the party scene. Donatello's in the sewers. Very, very good game. I think it's very cheap right now if you can find it. I've only played the PS2 version. I don't know about the Wii version now.
Is this the one that's based on the 2007 movie? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is very, very good. And like I said, I do recommend it to anybody that hasn't played it. It's it has some interesting mechanics to it. I can is what I could possibly say about that. But other than that, very, very good game. I very much loved TMNT 07. It's just that Night Watcher fucking music is just so awesome. Here, let me. But yeah, sorry, I just wanted to talk about the 2007 game.
Oh no, it's fine. We're about to move on to the big one, so
But yeah, I was gonna
Damn it.
say as a final thing, like I did play Reshelled, and it was before it was before I played the SNES one, and it wasn't great. And it's the only one I think that hasn't ever been re-released. So the only way you could ever find it is if you just happen to download it, or if you just have a modded system. But I mean, it's okay. But I'd say just play the original Turtles in Time over that. That you ever play it, Ren?
no. But from what I'm hearing, it's not the most stellar remake to some people, so I don't think I would go out and seek it by any means, especially if it's like delisted, which makes it harder.
Yeah, which means unless you downloaded it, you have to go through other means.
But is that it before we move on to the next one?
Yes.
Okay, so we can talk about the two big ones that came out recently, Shredder's Revenge and COWABUNGA Collection. So Drill, since you talk first, we'll start off with you.
Yeah, I mean, I played both of them. They're fun. Like Shredder's Revenge, I mean, I paid for full price for it. Although, if you want to, unless you're a big hardcore TMNT fan, I'd say just play it on Game Pass because you can beat it very quick. But it's still very good in my opinion. Just very short and not much replay value. Hopefully, they add DLC to give us extra characters and more modes, though. That would be great.
Kaneki, what about you?
Oh, and also Cowabunga Collection's good. The only thing I didn't like is that they took out the original 80s theme, but I imagine it's because Nickelodeon doesn't technically own the 80s Turtles. There's like some weird rights issues. But the online is kind of bad, but for offline stuff it's great.
All right, so Kaneki can go next.
Okay. I only played Shredder's Revenge. This beat 'em up is a love letter to all beat 'em up fans, and especially the Ninja Turtles fans. From start to finish, it's like if the old cartoon, what is it, the 80s cartoon, but in modern graphics and all that. It's like it never ended. It's like it continues within this game, and I love every second of it. Especially with you face familiar faces and bosses. Oh man, where do I even begin? There's a reason why Casey, once again, they pulled this from 2003 with this move. There is a reason why Casey was locked. You unlock it once you beat the game. Just like the 2003 game, that man is broken. Once you level him up and you can spam his super attack like crazy. And oh yes, the soundtrack to this game is, oh man, Street Fighter 4. I'm sorry, but OSTs hands down this game right here. I mean, you could jam to this music all fucking day long.
Although the only issue is that it is very, like, the taunt move is very overpowered for sure.
They're not gonna nerf that. I'll tell you that right now.
I know they nerfed some stuff in Streets of Rage 4, but that was because of PvP, I think.
All right, Rad, it's your turn.
Wait, hold on.
Ooh.
Sorry,
Yeah, please continue.
Before Rad goes, there's one flaw I would like to point out about this game. I don't know if they fixed it, but this game obviously cannot handle 6-player online. Even though the majority of when they showed off the online, that was what they intended for, is for 6-player online co-op. Oh boy, day one that they couldn't handle it. That game wasn't ready for that 6-player online co-op. Glitches galore to where one player can't even let us finish the mission. Hydro. But yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Brad.
This is the single best Ninja Turtles game. I am talking about Shredder's Revenge. For all the love I can talk about the previous beat 'em ups, with the variety of moves available, with the ability to play as characters like April O'Neil and Splinter, with all the stages, with all the bosses, with all the strive towards authenticity, getting the voices back from the old 80s cartoon. Love Letter doesn't even begin to describe this game. There was a mandate here of make it look like it came out of 1989. Like everything about this game, the music, the move list variety, even though online's kind of borked, just the multiplayer, this is head of the class. Like, this. I was excited for this game because it's .mu. There's a pedigree here because these are the same. Like, this is the same name attached to one of my other favorite beat 'em ups, Streets of Rage 4.
Yes,
So
sir.
there was a pedigree on here, and it was Tribute Games developing it, and they kind of did the Scott Pilgrim beat 'em up, and that was a good game. But I wasn't ready. Like, I was expecting a good game. I got a great game. It's like there's so much variety in the soundtrack. Like T. Lopez, never effing missing. And it was that, and it was when you actually fight Shredder, and then you hear fucking Wu-Tang Clan in the background. It's like,
We ain't came to lose.
That game is incredible. It's like I said, best Ninja Turtles game, bar none. In that same year, we got the COWABUNGA collection, courtesy of Digital Eclipse. So, for all of the fine details they put in as far as extras are concerned, it's a decent collection. They went out of their way to, obviously, Digital Eclipse is really good at preservation when it comes to games. But this collection is no exception to that rule. They've basically removed a lot of the flicker and slowdown from the NES games, in which, thank you. But this is an overall solid collection, especially where you can play Tournament Fighters Super Nintendo online, in which, I already talked about how good Tournament Fighters Super Nintendo is. I'm sure I did. But COWABUNGA collection, it's fine if you want to experience these games for the first time. If you want to go back to them, this is a fine collection worthy of $40. I think I've harped enough.
Blue Whisper, how about you?
Shredder's Revenge. I mean, the only reason I haven't played anything from the previous tier of games was because everything looked like I didn't know if these companies knew what they were doing. But when I saw Shredder's Revenge, I was just like, it spoke to me when I just saw like the first few frames of the trailers and all that, and the music, and then all the characters that I remember, and the nostalgia waving back when I saw all the characters like Irma and the bosses like at the zoo. I couldn't believe I was seeing these classic characters all over again. It just melted my heart. Honestly, the only thing that took me a while to get used to was the fact that instead of being a speedy, delivering all these fast attacks Raphael that I remember from Turtles, is they made him into like a powerhouse for his aggression. But just going through everything, I don't know what to say. It's just, I thought Turtles in Time was a masterpiece, and then I played Shredder's Revenge, and it completely dethroned what I thought of Turtles in Time. I hadn't played the COWABUNGA collection yet, so I have nothing to say on that one. But Shredder's Revenge is just so amazing. And when Shredder showed up, I had to think to myself, I don't have my big brother here to beat him for me anymore. I have to do it on my own, because it swung me right back to the arcade game and how I always had to pass the controller in order to even see the end credits for that game. And it was just such an awesome feeling to finally have beaten Shredder in that kind of a fight before. And that's all I can really say about Shredder's Revenge.
Ooh, we are going crazy over the music, but that is great, actually. Next up is Mr. Cryo.
If he's here.
I have not played either one of them yet.
Oh, that's fine.
You fiend!
You fiend! Tonight we dine on turtle soup.
I mean,
But-
Shredder's Revenge is on Game Pass, and it can run on anything.
He'll
So
like
there's
it though. I have a strong feeling you'll really like that game. But next up is Survive.
Weird enough, I haven't played it yet.
Damn it! How?
I own the game. I just it's in my backlog. I have like over 600, 700 games on
You
backlog.
can beat it really quick though. You might as well just play it.
And I'm one to play with people, so
Well,
I
that's
think I
fine.
may have a couple
Locally, yeah, sure, but anything but 4 or more is when you encounter a lot of desyncs.
So I have a bit of a confession. I'm not very surprised. Did you grow up with the '87 cartoon? Like, have you seen it at all before
I
the
did.
the 4 Kids cartoon?
Yeah, I
I've
did.
seen it.
Yeah, I'm
It-
talking to Survived.
Oh,
in terms of what, like the classic or the
Yeah,
I've had
you seem like a
DVD
person who
sets.
grew up with the 2K3 show.
Yeah, I actually that's how I got into Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
I'd seen a Leonardo lever action MMA toy, and I was like, "Hey, this looks interesting." And then I got into the TV show, and that's
Yeah.
But over time, I was giving a a box set of the Ninja Turtles classic show, and I watched it. It was actually really good.
Okay.
Very much like it.
Because Shredder's Revenge reached out to everyone who watched
Oh, I know.
the classic show and said, "Here,
1,000.
here's
Yeah.
we have traveled 30 years into the future to deliver you this game."
Yeah. Well,
I still have an old VHS tape of when the Cheese Monster and Baxter Stockman got turned into a fly. I still have a VHS of those 2 episodes.
Well, Zamzara, how do you feel about this?
Shredder's Revenge, I think, is one of the best couch co-op beat 'em up games in a very, very long time. Maybe since like Streets of Rage 4, Scott Pilgrim, or any of that stuff. There's a lot of depth to the combat. The soundtrack, as we've talked about, just fucking slaps. There's not a song on this entire soundtrack that misses. I really like all the environments, all the characters they brought in. Everything, like Rad said, just speaks to someone who grew up with the 87 series and played Turtles in Time and the arcade machine, the original arcade machine, with the apartment level in the beginning. And it's just, I think it's fantastic. I think it would be great if we got extra characters, some DLC with some more levels or anything, or even just a straight up sequel that's the same thing but expanded out. I would love to see that, and I hope they do more with this, because I don't think, other than Turtles in Time, I don't know that there's a more perfect Turtles game out there available to play. And for the Cowabunga collection, I think it's a really good value. You get so many games in there, and they're all great games. In summer,
Except for the NES and the Game Boy ones are kind of bad.
well, yeah, but it's still nice to go back and see where it all started, right? So you're still getting something out of it, even though
I
they're
mean,
not
you
perfect
still
games.
get good games, but you also do get a fair share amount of the bad ones.
Yeah, But with the ease of access and the price point, I don't think they're asking too much for it. I think I'd pay $40 for Turtles in Time again. So yeah, I don't see any issues with Cowabunga Collection, and I think it's a really good value. I haven't bought it myself yet, but it's definitely on my list to pick up. But I've played most of the games in the collection anyway, so I'm not super eager. It's not. I don't have a high sense of urgency to get that game, but yeah, definitely. I love both of them. I think Shredder's Revenge, going back to that, I don't think I've had more fun playing a co-op game with friends in a very long time than I did playing 3 or 4 hours of Shredder's Revenge with a couple buddies of mine. So definitely pick them up if you don't have them.
Yeah, I want to go next. I think man, Shredder's Revenge is such a good ass game. Taking on the fundamentals of Turtles in Time and improving, expanding, adding its own unique flair to the combat and everything, taunting and the special moves, and just adding in more enemy variety. That game was a beat 'em up masterpiece in my opinion. Some of the problems are basically what people have said. The fact that you play as 6 players and it's kind of wonky, but I don't know if they fixed it now. That kind of killed our first playthrough on the IES channel. So I'm hoping to go back and see if they patched it. But other than that, 6 players being a little bit too chaotic and maybe, needing that DLC for more replay value content, battle modes, etc. That could be thrown into the picture. Otherwise, the campaign
And
is pretty.
training mode.
Yeah, and training mode too, because that's desperately needed. But we played it and it was super solid from what I played. I really enjoyed the game. Solid all around. I would suggest if you're I think a good deal that they did with this was putting this on Game Pass, because that offered me the opportunity to play it. But if you're gonna play with friends, please do it on the Microsoft Store, because we tried it on Steam and it only connects through Epic. So you want to bear that in mind, unless you have like a
They did kind of lie with the crossplay.
Yeah, the crossplay was a big jip. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna refund my version on Steam, get the one on Microsoft, and go ahead and get that. And that's what I did.
$1, $1.
$1 Game Pass. But as for the collection, I only played a little bit of it for Cowabunga, and it was fine for the most part. Of course, it's like Drill said, there are some games in there that's, that NES Turtles 1 game. Oh man, going back to that one. But everything else, it's bang for your buck if you really missed out on games like this. If you want to play Turtles in Time and stuff like that legally, you're able to get the collection and have fun with it, and it's relatively decent for what it tries to do, which is emulate all these old games and bring it back to you in a way from the past. If you never play like the Game Boy ones or the SNES ones or the NES ones, you can play it all here. Drill, it is your turn.
Right.
Gotta
For
think about
good
this one long and hard, huh?
For good TMNT games.
We're talking about Shredder's Revenge and.
I think I already talked about it though.
Oh, okay. Well, we can just.
Yeah.
We can skip
But
on to the
yeah, I'd
next
say
one.
they're both worth getting. Just to reiterate.
We can skip to the next one then. So we can all talk now. Any honorable mentions for good Turtles games that people haven't played, or some that you haven't brought up yet?
To be honest, honestly, the Game Boy games.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I never really played any. I'm not a huge handheld gamer, and seeing everybody talk about the Game Boy Advance games in particular so highly has me curious, and I definitely want to go try the TMNT 2003 and the 2007 GBA games at this point, because they look really good.
A few people.
mean,
They're the best. They're the best.
especially for the time period that it was, developed in and released. I mean, they really weren't that bad for handheld portable games. I mean, especially the competition in those years.
I would honestly recommend not only the collection, but I would also recommend Shredder's Revenge because easily accessible to a lot of people, easy to pick up. So if you're willing to get into a bunch of games as a collection and a new game that is really badass, then I would recommend getting that one. It seems though, out of the conversation, that a few people said Out of the Shadows has some interesting premises behind it, and others said not so much. So that's kind of get me curious, as well as the Game Boy Advance games, because those are being touted to be really good.
Yeah, from what I heard, most of them are decent.
Rad.
If you,
Oh, good.
I was gonna say, if you've never played a Turtles game, start with Turtles in Time and Shredder's Revenge. Those two are going to be your best starting points.
Absolutely.
After Rad, I'm gonna talk about one version of the TMNT game.
Rad, you had a Yeah, Rad, you had a recommendation. I saw that.
I do. So, who here likes Metroid?
I do.
Oh, I enjoy that game.
You like your exploration, you like progression, you like getting your abilities on the go.
Yes.
I mean, Ren says he likes Metroid, but he hasn't played Dread yet.
Even if I haven't.
Did you play Fusion?
No. Even if I haven't played Fusion or Dread, I did play Super Metroid, and I overall enjoyed my experience as well as the Prime games. So I have some familiarity with them.
You'll like Fusion and Dread more.
So, what if there was a game that took the Ninja Turtles universe and stuck a Metroid game in there? I am here to tell you about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Radical Rescue for the Game Boy. A game that I don't think anyone ever really talks about. So, the story here is that all the turtles have been kidnapped except Michelangelo. So you start the game as Michelangelo, which, if that's a selling point for you, there you go. Michelangelo, what he brings to the table is his nunchucks. He can actually spin his nunchucks in the air and hover down like a helicopter. And that's how you get across some kind of hard to reach places, might be a little far away. But eventually you start rescuing the other turtles, radically, I might say, because the other turtles have abilities that will help you traverse across the game, like Donatello, he can climb walls, and Raphael, he can basically go into ball form and roll under like small passages, and it's kind of fun. It's hard and it kind of hates you, and there's a map in the game for a very good reason. But if you're down for some classic Metroid and you don't want something that's made by Nintendo and you like Ninja Turtles, I would recommend Radical Rescue. It's very underrated.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about Radical Rescue until the Cowabunga collection came out, and I read a couple articles about it, and I was just, this is totally up my alley. How have I never known about this game?
If anything, Cowabunga collection enhances that game, because there is an enhancement in Cowabunga collection where you can have little marks on the map to tell you if there's like a power up there, or if there's a boss there, for example. If you have to play it through Cowabunga collection.
You know, when you said Michelangelo and the nunchucks. Hold on.
But yeah, in terms of Ninja Turtles games, I don't see anyone talking about Radical Rescue. I didn't find out about it until later, until like I saw like a Twitch streamer I follow trying to do a full playthrough of it, and it's like, how did even I not know about this game? That's kind of where I'm at. Obviously, in terms of turtle games, you can start with. It depends on what Turtles you grew up with. I mean, obviously, Turtles in Time and all of its flavors are right there. I didn't really follow the 2003 cartoon, so I can't vouch for any of the games based on that, but they sound different enough. I might have to try them because I missed out on that era.
So before I had to mute myself real quick, Rad, I was gonna say when you brought up Mikey and the nunchucks, I instantly thought of the scene in TMNT 2 at the beginning, where he says, "Combat Gold Guts." I don't know why.
And next time, I'll use mustard.
While throwing the
That was a good impression.
I told you I've seen those movies a lot.
Good. First two good movies. Good movies.
I don't talk about
A good
the third one.
duology, if you will. Pity they never made a third.
Yeah, that is well. I mean,
Oh,
technically, we
no.
did get a third movie, the TMNT in 2007. Technically,
Yeah, I
I'm
really
those
like
people
that
like the
movie.
third movie.
Wait, are we talking about the Turtles
what
movie?
kind of-
Hold on, wait. Are we talking about the Turtles movie where they went back to the past
Yeah,
with the samurai stuff?
Oh,
Yeah, I like
no,
that
was a
one.
fan film.
You're talking crazy, Ren. You're thinking of. We're still talking about the Turtles in Time game. No, there was no
Why
Turtles
is
in
it that
Time
I like
movie.
the shit that everyone hates? God damn it.
Yeah, don't you know? Mikey said Godzilla Land. That doesn't happen. That didn't happen.
No,
He also
It's-
talks about swallowing an ancestor while talking about swallowing a frog.
Oh,
it's
What?
Star Trek time, guys.
Oh boy, that line. Wow. Let's
Cap-
move on. Let's move on to the last question, shall we?
I'm a turtle and I can't get up.
Oh,
hold on. Wait, before we move on, real quick. Has anyone ever played the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game on Commodore 64?
Mm-mm.
Nope.
No.
That, oddly enough, believe it or not, for a home computer game and system, that game was actually not that bad. Ren has seen me play it before.
I have.
It was not that bad. There was really no input delay on the hits or getting hit. Just it was actually not that bad. I'm kind of surprised, but I'm also not at the same time, because I mean, the Commodore it did beat the market for like a long period of time. Then Nintendo came knocking and said, "Hello, we want your crown, bitch."
Okay, but oh, this last question, we're gonna be on forever.
Uh-oh.
Yes, as tradition, who is your favorite turtle to play with and why?
Oh.
Easy.
That's easy for me. It has to be
whoa,
Mike
dude.
or Raphael.
Okay, we
It's
got
Mikey
one
for me.
Raphael, Mikey.
My reasoning is because I'm like Raphael. I like to go in head first sometimes. I'm very more bronze than anything.
So you like being the muscle? I got it.
Yeah, pretty much. And with Mikey, I'm the goofball, as a lot of you know in the group. I'm the goofball. I make a lot of dumb jokes. So I say dumb things too. So if Mikey fits part of my personality.
Survive. What were you gonna say?
Easy. Okay, so my favorite turtles are Raph and Donnie, but to play as them, absolutely Donnie and Leo. Every game. The range that they have is really, really good. And I don't really like being up close and personal in terms of fighting games. So it like and then also in beat 'em ups, it's always good to have some range, especially if you're playing as Donatello. So those would be my two.
This one's
Very easy.
this
Hold
one's odd for me. Go ahead.
Let me explain why I like Mikey, other than his personality, his weapon of choice.
True.
And this might be a spoiler alert if anyone never heard of this comic book I'm about to speak on right now. It is based on the story of what if all the other turtles died, but Mikey was the last survivor. This motherfucker became a fucking Ronin, like an Avenger in a way, and I fucking love every bit of it. I forgot the exact title of the comic. I may as well
The
look it
Last
up.
Ronin.
The
Yeah,
Last
Last
Ronin. Yes,
Ronin.
thank you.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I mean,
they made
same exact thing with Donnie too.
Yep, same as it never was.
Yep, he's gone for a couple years and everybody fucking falls apart.
literally. You want character development in a nutshell? Holy shit! You might
Yeah.
as well read this comic.
If
You mean a
haven't
turtle
read-
shell?
Oh damn it!
If you haven't read any of the IDW run that started years ago at this point, because they just passed, they're well past issue 100 at this point. But if you haven't read any of that run, I highly recommend it. Very, very good Turtles comics all the way through. Tons of spin-off series and stuff like that. But back to the question. My favorite Turtles to play as, always Raphael if I'm doing well, and then if I want to cheese it or I'm not doing good, I'm going to pick Donnie.
This is hard for me because my favorite turtles are Raph and Leo, but the ones I play with are Raph and Donnie because I just like the range on the staff and using it. That's pretty cool. And Raph is just like the go-to, you know, the rager, the muscle, the guy that likes to go in like headstrong. So I prefer using that character like a lot. Leo's not bad either, and Mikey's the one I picked the least, but I don't have a problem with Mikey per se. It's just in terms of turtle picking for like game to game, it's always been Raph and Donnie, in my opinion.
My friend, you're a mother yuck.
Yes, very much. But you know, good characters all around, always fun to play with. So, that's my top picks. Rad.
Mine is Leonardo, full stop. And just
course.
about everything I can play that isn't tournament fighters because Shredder. Leonardo was always my favorite turtle, whereas you have the wisecracking Raph, you have the cool Leonardo who's always hard on himself, always trying to improve, always trying to be the leader. It's reflected in the games more often. Because he has dual wielding katanas, he has the range, he has the techniques. I always liked playing as Leonardo in those games because you feel like the coolest guy sometimes. You feel like a winner when you're Leonardo.
Blue Whisper.
Raphael's my favorite turtle of all four of them, and he's always the first one I go for. Though sometimes I like to mix it up with the other three, though I actually play Donatello the least, even though he's my second favorite, because even though he's got that range, I always feel like I'm moving way too slow and it takes forever to get through a level. So I usually end up going like Michelangelo or even Leonardo just to get that extra ounce of speed. And I always like it how Raphael always seems to change up his stats in between all the games, because I remember in Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time, he's kind of like really jumping into combat, getting in attacks really, really fast, and then like in Shredder's Revenge, he just becomes like a powerhouse. So it's always interesting seeing how everybody has their different ways of looking at how Raphael gets his aggression out, be it through fast attacks or just heavy hitting stuff.
Real.
I was gonna say, yeah, probably redundant, but definitely rap as well.
A lot of Raph mains here. Damn. All right.
I know. I didn't expect so many Raph mains with the range. Of
Yeah.
Donnie and
Yeah, I do like to vary it up with Donnie though, but yeah, a lot of Raph mains. Zamzara, what about you?
Which Turtles? I said I would do Raphael and then Donnie.
Oh, okay. Is everyone done with their picks?
Yeah, very much.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess we're good to sign out then. All right, so we're gonna do outros. Blue Whisper, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on YouTube as Boris Saurus. That's all I have as social media.
Cryo.
You can follow me on Twitter and YouTube under Cryo Gaming.
Survive, where can we find you?
At Survived Combat, and that's combat with a K. So,
Of course, a Mortal Kombat fascination in there. Mr. Kaneki, where can we find you?
Twitter, YouTube, under the same name of School War Order. That's where you can find me. And not in Pornhub like Ren.
Oh, okay. All right. Rat, where can we find you, buddy?
You can slide on over to my Twitter at the Rad, or you can take a slice of my YouTube channel, Rad's Rad Games.
Drillbit?
You could find the Drillbit777. That's really where I'm only active on is Twitter.
Radical!
Zamzar, where can we find you?
Any of the socials, Twitch, YouTube, just search Zamzara and you'll find me.
All right, and you can find me on Twitter at RentOperative_, Pornhub at Renegade Operative.
There we go. There you go.
Oh my god.
YouTube at Renegade Operative, and I'll be trying to upload this podcast as well as all the previous stuff that I did before. I talked about Cobra Kai and I talked about some other stuff, so check it out on the channel, Last of Us HBO, all that stuff. So we're signing out. This was a great podcast, and when we have other beat 'em ups to talk about, which I have ideas, and the next Buster Wolf is the dead Capcom franchise known as Dogstalkers. That's gonna be interesting. So we will see you guys next time for that. Until then, later.
You will respect Dogstalkers, all right?
Go ninja, go ninja, go ninja, go.